Oh man, this is Rick James Story, Volume 18. The year was 1981. The Stone City Band is doing a thing. Rick James is doing his thing. Street songs come out and blow up everywhere, and Rick James is bigger than larger than life. Super Freak becomes a big song throughout everywhere. Next thing you know, there's all these imitation bands that were coming up during that time. And then you had these bands of guys that want to work with Rick or and trying to impress Rick to get on a tour and work with him. It was a lot of guys that Rick, tried to see if they work with him and see if they can hang and party with Rick James, and most of them couldn't do it. And one guy was Larry Black. Larry was a whole different type of guy when people saw him from where they last remember him. Larry Blackmon was looking like a Teddy Pendergrass type of guy. And that's what Rick be like, yeah, you're Teddy Pendergrass looking mother. Bring yourself over here, Kool-Aid head. So Rick, man, he got a big, don't he got like a watermelon head? Come on over here, Larry. So Rick hung out with Larry and then when they was out there and he was talking music and he talking about the sound and all this stuff, man. Rick was gone and chatting and talking and Scooter, come here. Yeah. Tell them girls over there to come over here. I'm Rick James. Tell them Rick James said come over here. They just walked in. Tell them to come over here. Yeah, I'm gonna introduce you, Larry. I'm gonna get you some girls. So he called them over there. Girl. Yeah, this is Larry Blackmon. Make them feel good. I'm Rick James. So so Larry and them, they all excited and all this stuff. They doing their shows. And they was like, yeah, we took our name like we the New York players, like the Ohio players, but we the New York players. Till they ran into the Ohio players. And the Ohio players were ready to beat them into the ground. What you mean, New York players, man? So they ran into a lot of pressure over the fact they didn't took the name. They was like, man, they trying to copy us. Man, these dudes from New York out there trying to copy us. So they was going to get beat down. The Ohio players rolled pretty deep. So they end up changing their name to Cameo. And that became the name of the group, Cameo. So went from the New York players to Cameo. Now Rick is bigger than life, doing his thing, still going around. And as the years go by, he don't really see Larry too much, Larry Black. But he's aware of their music. And then in '84, they was on a Soul Train or something. And he watched their performance and he's watching Larry up there. Larry got a big Jerry curl now looking like he Rick. But he's trying to sing and he's like, man, look at Larry, man. Larry can't sing worth a damn, can he? Look at him. You see, that's Larry right there. Now he's trying to sound like somebody else. I don't know who he's trying to sound like. He's trying to sound like Rick James. And he can't hit nobody. Man, I can't sing like Rick James, man. Who the hell can sing like Rick James? Listen. Talks about himself in third person, which is great. But but he's like talking about the movie, like She's Strange. That was the song I think they were doing at that time. She's strange. And I like it. He's like, man, that sound like a nursery rhyme. Man, look at that. Listen to the tune. It's all off key. This dude don't even know. Look at it. He jumped. He early. Man, he can't even. Man, this song is terrible. And they got it on. See, this is what's wrong right now. They paid all this money and they put them on out there on TV. They need Rick James up there. So Rick came to the studio with a joint in his mouth. Came in the studio one time, and this was rumored that Larry Blackmon and was there. And he came in there and played like one of their hit songs, Candy. Don't, 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 don't. Rick was like playing around in the studio and came up with that, playing something real. So he thinks Larry took that from him. Rick swore up and down they stole candy from him. Just like candy. Man, he was ticked off when he heard that. Then he comes out with the Flag. He was really upset that his Flag album didn't blow. He thought that was some of his best work. He had changed his entire look. From that orange hair thing that didn't work out for him with glow. And he came back with the Flag. And he was all into the freaky stuff and having two women and all. Rick was, at this stage, Rick had hit the abyss. But he was going into this punk rock look. He had cut his hair. And he was like, man, when everybody see Rick James and cut his hair, man, they going to be like, man, Rick gone wild, man. Rick gone wild. Man, that's going to be the new thing now. They going to be really caught in the Rick because you're going to be like, man, that's Rick James? Man, what Rick talking about? And Rick was talking about Africa and the red, black, and green and putting up that flag and unity and all this stuff. We got to come together. And he felt Cameo came out. Larry Blackmon came out with the jock strap on and got himself a high top Jerry curl fade. Man, Rick was too upset. Man, this dude that cut his hair, he saw Rick James and said, man, I got to follow Rick James. Man, I'm tired of this man stealing from me. I'm going to beat his ass when I see. Man, Rick was mad as hell. Rick was mad as hell and was trying to get his hands on Larry Blackmon. But Larry Blackmon is about 6'9", 230. So he heard Rick James was mad at him. He was, what? Rick is crazy. So Rick, they was like, Rick, ain't no way. He was like, man, when he come to the town, I'm going to beat Larry's ass. Larry know he can't out-sing me. Man, Larry, man, where they at? I drive all the way to, they in Sacramento, I'm driving to Sacramento. So Rick James went to drive to Sacramento to go see, what was it? They had a club out near Sacramento, someplace out there they was playing. It called a Lagoon or something like that. So it might be Blue Lagoon or some lagoon. Rick James come in. They playing, hey, Rick! Rick James, and he waiting on Cameo to show up. So they was like, oh, Cameo ain't coming. They pulled out. He's like, man, why don't you come do the show, Rick, man? Play up. He's like, oh, you want to hear some of that Flag? So the guy was like, yeah, but if you got some other songs, you could do some off that, do some off that, you know, Give It To Me Baby or some Mary Jane, man. I ain't with that, man. You gotta play some songs, man, like from the Flag. He said, man, you could just mix it up. No, man, I'm doing my whole album. I'm gonna do Slow and Easy. You ever heard Slow and Easy? I'm gonna do Slow and Easy. Then I'm gonna do that Freak Flag, man, just to get it set it off. Trumpet, I'm gonna set it off. You know, I'm gonna play something real. So that's the thing here. All these dudes, they talking about this. Man, they don't know they talking about all that garbage, man. Y'all got Cameo coming in here. That's a bunch of imitators. They're trying to imitate Rick James. There's only one Rick James. So Rick James went and did the show. And then he went out there and I think he did an interview somewhere. He talked to a producer or somebody, and Cameo was upset at Rick James because he had said some things about him, and Word Up came out, and Word Up was the song, and Cameo was a hit, and Rick James was ticked off. And when Rick was upset because he was like, yeah, they stole my song. He's like, Cameo, like, what? We pattern ourselves not after Rick James, but after the Ohio players. They didn't even give respect to Rick at all. Rick was doubly pissed off. How in the world, when do you see the Ohio players look like Larry Blackmon? They want to whoop his ass. I had to talk to Ohio players to keep him from whooping Larry's ass. Larry, that big soup head looking mother. He think he Rick James. He rocking around there with a jock strap on, trying to show his arms off his. And now that boy ain't nothing but he was just singing like Teddy Pendergrass. He was dressing like Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy will sing his ass under the rug, even in that damn chair. So Rick didn't think too much of Larry. He thought he was a carbon copy, trying to imitate him, and he wanted to do a standoff, a sing-off with him, with that album. So the flag didn't blow. So Rick was like, bump that. I got something for him. I'm going back to being Rick James. I'm finna blow them away. So when he came with the new style on Wonderful, he was looking like the Macho Man Randy Savage coming out there with the loud hat, feather hats and everything, and he was back to doing some Rick stuff. When he came out with Lucy's Rap with Roxanne Shante. Lucy Rap. And that was bringing him back to the game. Lucy's Rap was some Lucy Rap. And when Lucy's Rap came out, man, that was just blowing people away. But people were playing Word Up and a cold word. No matter what you say it, people thinking about me. And all you sucker DJs who think you're fly there, got me. Rick was not happy with that. His album ain't getting no spins. You telling Rick James he's not getting any spins? So this was his first album on his new label. He was nice and ticked off with Gordy Records dropped the ball with the flag. So he's now on Reprise Records. And he's ready to roll. Because he was like, I got screwed over for Larry Blackmon. Y'all wanted Cameo and everybody else. All right, bet. I'm out. I'm going over here where the real artists are. Because Reprise Records was giving out like fair deals as far as publishing and music and everything else. It was a part of Warner Music Group, but you got better treatments on your royalties and publishings from Reprise that you did with anywhere else. And Rick had got a very good deal from them at the time. So when they came into play, it was like these were big time for him to make a move to go over here. And he was like, okay. Rick was like basically telling all the other artists in the game. Rick had gotten smart and hip to what was going on. Rick was just basically telling everybody, look, man, I see what? Look at the artists, man, on Motown, man. Most of them are living under the expressway in a cardboard box, man. All these guys that made millions of records that sold, man, all these records they done sold, man, all these hits, man, and at the end, they got nothing. But Berry Gordy and Motown, man, they got millions. But everybody who sung for them, man, they all on crack, on cocaine, they all in the messed up, man. They got the needle in the arms, man. They living under bridges. They ain't got nothing to show for it. That ain't gonna be Rick James. And that's how he was. He felt like they just turned their back on him. They didn't support him no more. So Larry Blackmon came out. He had just bought a brand new Stingray or something. And Larry Blackmon was coming out the club. And they said, as soon as he went into the club, and later that night, somebody had busted through a bowling ball through his windshield, through a bowling ball. And they tried to say some chick did it. Some angry girl threw a bowling ball through his windshield. And it was like, oh, man. And it was like, man, that was Rick James. How much you want to bet? And it was 1988, same year. Rick James was saying, let's see what they drop next. I bet you they drop a brick. They new album ain't gonna sell nothing. So that's basically all the rest of it that went down, man. Larry, big old sixer. He didn't like Larry too much. He thought he stole his style, and that was basically it. But I think deep down he appreciated him as they went on and as their careers came and went. They had plenty of records. They just never blew up. The Word Up album that came out in 96, that thing lasted all the way into 98. And they kept making records, but nobody was really into it no more. And Larry changed his style up to sound like the guy from UMG's The Butt. Yes, I am. That's not how Larry used to sound. That's why Rick Dude said, man, this dude is fake. He used to sing like Teddy Pendergrass. Now he in here trying to be somebody he ain't. So yeah, it caused a lot of people to, look at them in a whole different light. So yeah, but on that note, it's your boy Carcino, man. I'm out. People are hitting me up right now. So let me get out of here. Don't forget to follow the Rick James playlist. I think we're on number 18 right now. So yeah, there's more to come.